I'm going to show you some stuff here today. I'm going to show you some stuff that'll make you question everything that you have been told by the government. First of all, construction is closed, but construction is taking place in this location here. And since I brought out the camera, the workers in their overalls, their construction overalls, have run to hide. But I didn't come here to do that video. That's the police work. Police do their work, it's up to the police. I be on the bullshit now. This is what I want to show you. That building there and that Junior Sammy nonsense is where the operation to build a $500 million flyover is taking place. Now I want you to hear this. They're building a $500 million flyover. Right now, while the rest of the country on lockdown and nobody else workers could work, these workers tying steel and working in a job site. Right? Now they'll tell you they're not working, but I want you to see this. See what's going on there? He ain't dressed for church. Construction stopped because I hear with a camera. Now I didn't come here to bust that mark. But I hope to see that the police will get this information. The amount of these workers on this site in uniform, dressed for work, there are at least 10 of them on the site by my count. But again, that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to show you a government this is how your money gets looted. You see how your money gets looted. See that? That's Powder Magazine. Poor people housing. See that? And Powder Magazine Phase 2 was built here under Manning. And then the UNC came into office, and all the money that could have been stolen through the HDC for Powder Magazine Phase 2 was already stolen. There was a 10-year contract for scaffolding that was up for 10 years being paid for by the day. This project was Phase 2 to this project. Poor people housing, Phase 2, Powder Magazine. The UNC decided that's not good enough. They didn't get a thief any money. So they changed the scope of works and expanded the project and spent twice as much money as the PNM on Phase 2 of Powder Magazine to finish it to this level. Same street to go in for Powder Magazine. You see all that, right? To get to the guard booth. Because right over that mountain, you see in that V there, We're not hearing on the news is the home invasions and the robberies that are taking place. Because in that V, right over that little rise of mountain there, is Cocorite. 50,000 desperately hungry people. But forget that. That is not even the story. When the PNM, when this PNM came into office, they decided that they too had to thief for money. So, Manning boys thief for money to build Powder Magazine Phase 2. Kamla boys thief for money to change the scopes of works. Rowley boys thief for money to make it middle class housing. They changed the scope of works again and they made it middle class housing. It's still Phase 2 on the books. Cabinet note is Phase 2 for Powder Magazine, poor people housing, low income housing. But now, Rowley boys decided, after Kamla boys spent all our money, like when they had built John Towers and they thought it was too nice for poor black people, the same thing applied here. And this was too nice for poor people. So it was sold to middle class people. However, because of its proximity to Powder Magazine and Cocorite over that little rise in the mountain there, real estate agents convinced the government to sell this at a subsidized price, which means that it was still sold to middle class people, but the poor people who live in Powder Magazine and all the other poor people in the country paid a piece of these people money for their houses. If that wasn't disgusting enough, this housing project here now, not Powder Magazine that was here for decades, they didn't care about Powder Magazine. Powder Magazine could have taken jam. But now that this is middle class housing, it is too much of a drive for them to drive to the turnaround on the foreshore to come back to go Diego Martin or Westmall. That was okay for Powder Magazine people, poor people from the West. That was okay for them. They could take all kind of jam. But these middle class people, that's too long a drive. So now, poor people and everybody else in the country are going to pay $500 million. $500 million to build a flyover dedicated to a housing project so that they could get to Westmall. Saying it again, for the cheap seats, the rest of Trinbago, the rest of the citizens of the Republic are going to spend $500 million in taxes so that the middle class people who live in here could fly over and go to Westmall. And that's what this project is. All of this that's happening here, all of this is that. $500 million so that the people who live there could get to Westmall. $500 million, the people who walk to work and walk home have to pay $500 million so that the subsidized big shots living in what is not Powder Magazine Phase 2 again. It's Victoria Keys. Because across the road from Victoria Park, in a big shot area. So they want to be associated. But they don't want to be associated with Powder Magazine. So the rest of the country is going to spend $500 million on a flyover. Now I want to tell you this. What we've spent to build it, we'll never get back. Just the apartments. We'll never get that back. What's worse, all that thief money thief under Manning, thief under Kamla, thief under Rowley. All that thief money is in Fat Cat's pockets now. Some of the same Fat Cats thief in all three versions of the project. That is not important. But now it is not poor black people living there. So they don't want to use that road. See that road there? They don't want their children using that same road at Powder Magazine to come home. So the rest of the country have to spend $500 million. $500 million to build a flyover so that the people who living in that compound could go Westmall and shop. Now while you're watching this, if you hire a man to come and do in your yard what these Chinese workers doing in this compound, the police will come and fine you $250,000. If they pull up in your yard and see workers in uniform like they are workers in uniform here, the police by law will fine you $250,000 and they could jail you. But here, in this compound, the law will apply here. Not to these Chinese workers, not for this Chinese company, not for these Chinese materials that we borrow money from China to build, using Chinese equipment, and we have to pay back that loan. Everything that is taking place here is an obscene attack against normal, everyday, tax-paying citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And all of this, more important than some of the issues that we are making noise over. This here, the fact that this company, this Chinese company, its workers can be engaged in construction while the rest of the country, construction sites shut down, is an offense of epic proportions. But what is going on here is more theft again. This is an unnecessary piece of roadworks. It is overpriced 100 times beyond what it should be. And it is unfair to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that this is what is taking place as governance under the guise of a pandemic fixing Trinidad and Tobago. Look at it. And tell me if you shouldn't run, not walk, run to find that petition to fire Keith Rowley and his lying bunch of infidel ministers. Look at this. Everything they touch is a lie.